All right, welcome back. It's been a few weeks since we did a stock market update, and we're going to do a midweek update. Today is Tuesday, and we've got a pretty important week here for the stock market. So we're going to quickly go over some of the news that is to come, and then we'll look at some charts because we got a choppy market. So this week we do have the Jackson Hole Federal Reserve meeting. So that's going to be August 21st through the 23rd. So you're going to have a lot of Fed speeches, a lot of interviews, and it'll be interesting to get the current Fed's viewpoint on labor, tariffs, inflation, rates, see what they're going to say there. Now, this is typically a market moving event just because you get a lot of Fed heads giving their opinion, and the market will price in what they're saying after this event. So it'll be a pretty interesting week just to see what they have to say and see the market's reaction to what they have to say. And this is also on top of our seasonality weakness that we typically have in August and September. August has still been a pretty good month, but it's looking like we're topping out a little bit. So we'll see if the Fed can push us up or if they will push us down. We are seeing the crypto market pull back after having a nice rip roar the last couple of weeks. So that is, to me, kind of the canary in the coal mine, is you're seeing some of the frothiness in the market really start to cool off and reverse. So the crypto market, and we'll take a look at a bunch of stocks that have been on a tear just like crypto, they're starting to give back some of their gains. And my takeaway from all of this is, let's see how the market reacts here. It's time for a little bit of a pullback. We'll see how big of a pullback we get. And if we do, I think this is a buying opportunity for both high quality crypto assets and also some high quality technology stocks if we can get a nice solid pullback. I'm not throwing a ton of money in the market right now. I want to get better prices. So I'm not going to sit there and wait and let any dip pass me by, but I'm also not going to jump the gun too early, as we've seen some pretty nasty, quick, violent pullbacks in September and October. And who knows, again, if we'll get that, but it does feel like it would be the right time for a nice little pullback and then for the market to resume upwards in November, December. No one can time the market. No one can predict the market. I'm just giving you my opinion on where we're at and what we could potentially see here within the next few weeks. So my personal plan here is to get my shopping list ready this weekend. I already have a good idea of what I want to buy and at what prices. And then if the market gives us those opportunities, I will be taking advantage. I'm not selling any stocks. I'm not de-risking any positions, long-term positions that I have. I'm holding on to those. If anything, I may sell some more covered calls if we get a green day in the next few days or few weeks, just to hedge for the potential volatility that is to come. So when we look at the S&P, a few weeks ago, we did have a nice pullback, but then we just shot right back up to all-time highs. And we'll see if we get some more follow-through on the last few red days that we've had here for the S&P. And the NASDAQ looks similar as well, a little bit weaker than the S&P 500. So we are seeing the profit taking in more of the technology names versus the overall market. So again, some of these high-flying tech names that have ran up quite a bit, those are starting to get a little bit more profit taking versus some of the more steady growers that you see in the S&P 500. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin looking kind of weak here. Again, long-term super bullish. We did hit all-time highs last week, and looking like a little pullback, maybe down to 105, 100,000. That's not an unhealthy thing. That's not a scary pullback. That is a healthy pullback, and it's going to give us the fuel for the next move up higher to new all-time highs. So that's kind of the whole thesis here for the market. And you're going to see the high beta names like Bitcoin and some of these technology stocks. People are going to take profits, and then once things settle out, people are going to look around and say, okay, what can I get into for the next move up? So that is what we're looking for. That's what we're looking to get prepared for. I'm not too worried about the overall market. We just had a lot of earnings. Earnings are very, very strong for a lot of quality companies out there. So if we get a pullback, to me, that is a welcomed sign here. So get your capital ready and see what deals we get out there. Ethereum as well. Ethereum climbed up to almost 5,000, almost the all-time high, and we're getting a nice pullback here. We're at a pretty interesting area here where we got rejected here a few times. A little pullback here. Potentially we make our move back up, or if we fail this 4,000 level, it looks like maybe 3,400 bucks could be our next stop. If not, $2,700, that seems highly unlikely unless we go into a very deep pullback for the crypto market. But Ethereum, crazy run up, small dip so far. So this is just, it seems like a lot the last few weeks when you see a $700 drop, but it's also up, 4x in the last few months here. So just some profit taking. Let's take a look at a couple of names. Amazon holding up relatively well. You've got Google also holding up really well here. So we'll see if that shows some relative strength here. And let's take a look at some of these high flyers. Let's take a quick look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has earnings next Wednesday. That's going to be another big market mover. Again, 185 all-time high. We're only down 10 bucks. So not the end of the world here. Uber showing some nice strength here, but some of the names like a Palantir down 9% today. 6 days in a row of red, but we're just back to where we were August 5th. So seems like an aggressive move to the downside, but it was also an aggressive move to the upside. It's been an aggressive move the whole run up here. So some of these names that have really moved up quite a bit, people just taking some profits. Hood, same thing. Just looks just like Palantir, down 10% here the last couple of days. But when we zoom out, it's just a little tiny pullback. AMD, another name here, crazy run up, profit taking. So again, not the end of the world. Meta showing some weakness here. Netflix as well, showing a little bit of weakness. Now these are some of the blue chip names. A Netflix, a Meta. If we can get a nice pullback on these names, I think that is a very welcomed move for these names. Gives fuel for the buyers to come in and step in and push this thing back up. A name like Microsoft, huge rejection here after earnings at 555, and has just given up all of those gains from the earnings. Again, they crushed their earnings. They killed it, but people taking profits here. So we'll see where the bottom is for Microsoft. Spotify, little pullback here, nothing crazy. You've got UNH. This is definitely one that I'm interested in. It had the Berkshire pump over the over this last week. So I'm expecting this name to eventually rebound up into the 340s, 350 level, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get back down in the 280s, 270s before then. Because there's a lot of trading money that hopped in here in anticipation of the Berkshire announcement, and then also on the continuation of that. So if this fails, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those traders get out and then people move on to something else. So some other names I'm looking at, some cybersecurity names. You had Palo Alto had their earnings today. They had really good earnings, good guidance, but this name is down a decent amount. But these names are not the cheapest. So you've got names like CrowdStrike as well. Again, these are blue chip stocks, and if we can get a decent discount on these names over the next few months, I'm here for it. And that's about it. We got Costco earnings coming up as well, and we have Walmart and Target. So we still have a few earnings coming up, but the main news source here is going to be what the Federal Reserve has to say this week. And then next week we've got NVIDIA's earnings. And then we'll just have to see how the market does through this seasonally weak period. So point of this video here is don't make any rash decisions. This is not the time to go all in or all out, but to look around and say, hey, what are the positions that I want to add to if we get a pullback? And if you're over levered, be prepared for some volatility and don't get washed out. So that is all I got for this short update. I hope to do a video on Friday after Jackson Hole, and looking forward to some volatility coming our way here the next couple of months. All right, everybody, stay safe. Have a great week. Peace out.